Hello, Jace Fugate here with another session of the Introduction to the Go Programming Language course. And so today we're going to be talking about packages. So let's go ahead and dive in. Packages are ways that we can organize our code. So we put a bundle of code that relates to each other into a package. Something that you may have remembered, we've discussed it in some of the other videos, is that the entry point to your program has to be called main, and you have to have a main function. So let's go ahead and run this. Nothing's going to print out. It's just going to compile, run, and then give us a prompt back. Well, if I change the name of this to not main and then try to run it, it'll yell at me and say, go run, cannot run non-main package. You can't have the entry point to your program a non-main package. You cannot compile a non-main package. You cannot run a non-main package just by itself. It has to be main. As well, if I were to change the name of this function from main to mains, it'll yell at me and say, hey, there's no main function declared in the main package. So you have to have both there. But you can have packages that aren't main packages. So let's go ahead and show you this here. So let's make a couple functions. We're gonna make a couple variables. Let's do var a, var b, and we're gonna make some functions, and it's gonna be like some arithmetic functions here. We're gonna do a func add. I'm gonna take a, b. Those are both gonna be integers, and then that will return an integer. It's gonna be a minus b. I'm doing this quick here, so we can just run through. Subtract, multiply, divide. So it's add, subtract, multiply, divide. One thing that's great about this code editor is it will format that for me. In fact, I like my code to look a certain way, so I'm going to format it a little bit more. Here you go. We have these three functions, and now let's import in the funct package. We're going to print out these functions here. So let's make 4 of these. Make sure we use the correct package name, not funct. It's funct. I love multi-cursor. If your editor does not do multi-cursor, you should find one that does. And if it does do multi-cursor and you don't use it, you should start using it. It's very useful. Let's go ahead and run this. There you have it. 3, -1, 2, and 0. Let's make this a little bit more obvious in what it's doing. Something that you've seen probably in the other videos, anytime I've ever used println or just print, it's always just been one thing I pass into this function, but you can actually pass in as many things as you want and just separate them with a comma, different parameters. And when it prints out, it will print out just with a space in between. So there you have it. We have really simple functions. But what if we don't want these like arithmetic functions to clutter up our main package? We want the main package just to be like the setup, and that's it. So we can create a sub package or subdirectory in the package that we're currently working in. So the package that I have, it's called packages. Inside that directory, I'm going to make something called alg. It's going to be like for algorithms. Create a new file. You don't have to call this main.go. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it alg.go. And I'm going to name this the same name as the directory. It doesn't have to be, but by convention, you really should. It makes things a lot easier. Let's go ahead and move these functions in there. So now if I try to run my package, it's going to yell at me and say that, hey, these functions aren't defined. And it's true, these functions aren't defined here. They're not here anymore. We don't have access to them, but we can. We can import the alg package and gain access to all these methods. So we're going to be doing multiple imports. And what we're going to do is we're going to first put in the name of the package that we're currently in, because we're going to be basing this path. We're going to be actually building like a path here of where this package is that we want to gain access to. So we start at source. and it's inside the main, or it's inside the packages directory. And then inside the packages directory, it's in the alg directory. And then we reference it based on the name of the package that we're importing, alg. So I'll go over that again. So packages is the name, is like the first subdirectory underneath source. And then alg is the subdirectory underneath packages. And then inside of alg, we have the package that we want to gain access to. And so we have add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And by referencing alg, the name of the package, dot, whatever function is, we now can run this. And there you have it. It runs just as it did before. So that's a basic introduction to packages. Packages are really nice so that you can separate your code and make it a little bit easier to read. You can do something called separation of concerns. Some people will call it that you put things that are similar in a similar place and things that are different in a different place. So definitely play with this, see what you can and see what you can't do. We're going to be talking more about packages in the next few videos because there's a lot to it and there's some nuances that come up. So we hope to see you again. Thank you so much for being here.